The journey of being human is filled with moments of joy, pain, discovery, and confusion. But what if being human is just the beginning? What if there's more to our existence than simply living through this physical world? At some point, we start to feel a calling, a gentle pull towards something greater. It begins as a subtle whisper, something beyond the material distractions, hinting at a deeper reality. You might have felt it in moments of stillness, in deep meditation, or even while walking through nature. This sense that life is far richer than what our senses can perceive. This is the signal that it's time to move beyond stage one, and today we will show you how to reach the next. Stage one of humanity. Stage one is all about survival, learning, and growth through the lens of a human experience. It's about navigating through life's challenges, interacting with others, and developing a sense of self. But reaching the next stage requires a shift in consciousness. It's about moving from living through the mind and body to something much more profound, tapping into the spirit. The first step in reaching the next stage is recognizing that you are not just the roles you play or the experiences you have. You are not just a person trying to survive in a complex world. You are a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. This realization opens the door to a greater understanding of your place in the universe and the possibilities that lie ahead. In Eastern philosophy, this idea of transcending the self is central. According to the teachings of Vedanta, the self is often bound by illusion or maya, the belief that our physical body and the material world are all there is. Once we begin to see past this illusion, we start to understand our true nature, which is limitless. The sages of ancient times taught that the next stage is about merging with the universal consciousness, which is often referred to as Brahman in these teachings. Reaching the next stage is not about escaping the human experience, but about transcending the limitations of the ego and realizing that we are part of something much greater. The soul, they believed, is eternal and infinite, temporarily housed in the human form to learn, grow, and expand. Once we understand this, we can begin to live with more intention, more clarity, and more purpose. Many spiritual paths guide us toward this awakening. Some, like Buddhism, teach that the next stage comes through enlightenment, achieved by mastering mindfulness and detaching from the desires that tie us to the physical world. Others, like the mystic traditions of Sufism or Kabbalah, speak of dissolving the ego to experience the divine directly. Dissolving the ego. Dissolving the ego isn't an easy or quick process. The ego resists letting go because it thrives on control. It might try to disguise itself in spiritual ambition, convincing you that you are more enlightened than others, or that you are superior in your understanding of the universe. This is just another trap of the ego. Rumi, the Sufi poet, spoke often of dissolving the ego in love. He said, "You have to keep breaking your heart until it opens." This speaks to the painful yet necessary process of letting go of the ego's desires, attachments, and self-imposed limitations. As we break the ego, we open ourselves to the boundless love, connection, and freedom that exists beyond it. True freedom comes when we release the need to defend or justify ourselves. The ego wants to hold on to grudges, feel wronged, and stay trapped in a cycle of pain and suffering. But once you see through this, you begin to understand the deeper wisdom that exists beyond those reactions. You realize that you no longer need to win arguments, prove your worth, or be right all the time. This brings a profound sense of peace, as the ego no longer dictates your life. As we deepen this journey, we begin to cultivate practices that lift us toward higher states of awareness. Meditation, breathwork, and prayer become not just tools of relaxation, but gateways to this new stage of existence. When we sit in silence, we can connect with the deeper parts of ourselves, the parts that know we are more than just this human form. These moments of connection become glimpses of the next stage, where the limitations of the physical world begin to fade and a sense of timelessness and infinite presence starts to grow. Remember that you're spiritual. One powerful way to begin this transition is to regularly remind yourself of your spiritual nature. This isn't about abandoning your humanity, but about integrating your human experiences with your spiritual truth. Start small, perhaps with daily affirmations that remind you of your deeper essence. I am more than this body. I am a spiritual being. Over time, this mindset will start to shift the way you perceive the world. As you open up to this truth, you'll notice that the challenges you face in life no longer seem as overwhelming. The struggles of stage 1, fear, doubt, insecurity, will begin to lose their hold over you. You'll understand that while these challenges are part of the human experience, they are not the end of the story. They are lessons, temporary states meant to shape your soul and prepare you for the next level. Also, please realize that reaching the next stage doesn't mean you stop being human. It's not about escaping into some otherworldly state where nothing matters anymore. On the contrary, it's about living your human life with greater awareness and deeper purpose. It's about bringing that spiritual understanding into your everyday actions, thoughts, and relationships. Being human is stage 1, but we were never meant to stay here forever. The next stage is about recognizing the infinite within us, stepping into our role as co-creators of reality and merging with the universal consciousness that flows through all things. It's about experiencing life from a place of unity, love, and deep connection to everything around us. The moment you begin to see your life not as the final destination, but as a stage in your soul's eternal journey, everything changes. You realize that the mundane and the divine are intertwined. The pain and joy you experience as a human being are sacred, part of the grand unfolding of existence. And as you start to live from this perspective, you begin to transcend the limitations of stage 1 and step boldly into the next phase of your evolution. You are standing at the edge of this transformation, and the next step is yours to take. Embrace the journey with open arms, knowing that you are not just a human being trying to find your way. You are a spiritual being, awakening to your true potential. The start of stage 2 begins when you recognize the infinite divine within you. Recognize the infinite within us. It's like realizing that the small waves on the surface of the ocean are still part of the vast, limitless sea beneath. In our daily lives, we often get caught up in the surface-level experiences, our thoughts, emotions, and the events around us, without noticing the deeper reality that flows through everything. So how do we begin to recognize the infinite within us? It starts by shifting our focus inward. Most of the time, our attention is directed outward, towards the world and its demands. We wake up, go through our routines, interact with people, and react to whatever comes our way. While all of this is part of life, it can sometimes keep us disconnected from our true nature. To recognize the infinite, we need to carve out moments of stillness, where we can listen to the deeper currents within ourselves. In meditation, when the mind quiets down and the distractions fade, something remarkable happens. We begin to sense a part of ourselves that isn't tied to the everyday worries and stresses. It feels expansive, peaceful, and timeless. This is the doorway to the infinite, the awareness that exists beyond our thoughts, beyond the roles we play, and even beyond our bodies. It's the eternal part of us, often called the soul or spirit. And once you've felt this, even if only for a brief moment, you'll start to realize that it's always there, patiently waiting for us to reconnect. Why is it so important to recognize this infinite aspect of ourselves? When we are solely identified with our human experience, our problems, successes, fears, and desires, we become limited. We think we are only the small, temporary person living in this body, subject to the ups and downs of life. But when we recognize the infinite within us, we realize that we are so much more. This understanding brings a sense of freedom and peace. Instead of getting lost in temporary setbacks or overwhelming emotions, we can take a step back and see the bigger picture. We start to understand that life is a journey, not a series of disconnected events. Everything we experience, both good and bad, is a part of our growth, an unfolding of the infinite potential we carry within us. When we recognize the infinite within us, we tap into this sense of oneness. We start to see ourselves not as isolated beings, separate from the rest of the world, but as integral parts of a larger, interconnected reality. This realization changes the way we interact with life. Instead of feeling alone or disconnected, we begin to see the unity in everything. We realize that every person we meet, every challenge we face, is part of this grand tapestry of existence, and we are woven into it just as deeply as everything else. This recognition also shifts our understanding of time. In our day-to-day lives, time seems linear, moving from one moment to the next. But when we connect with the infinite within us, we get a sense that time isn't as rigid as it seems. There is a timeless quality to the soul, an eternal present that exists beyond the clock. This is why so many people who have deep spiritual experiences describe them as moments where time seemed to stand still. Why is this shift so important? In this second stage, we learn to navigate life with more grace and ease. We are less likely to be overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, or stress because we understand that these are temporary states of mind, not the truth of who we are. We become more resilient, more compassionate, and more open to the flow of life. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable now appear as opportunities for growth because we see them from a higher perspective. This is the key to unlocking our fullest potential. Often, we hold ourselves back because we believe we are limited by our past, by our circumstances, or by what society tells us we can or cannot do. But when we connect with the infinite, we realize that these limitations are illusions. We have access to far greater wisdom, creativity, and strength than we ever imagined. This doesn't mean that life becomes perfect or that we stop encountering difficulties. It means that we approach life with a new sense of empowerment. We understand that the true power lies within us, not in external circumstances, but in our ability to stay rooted in the infinite, no matter what comes our way. Every time we meditate, reflect, or simply pause to breathe deeply, we reconnect with that infinite source of peace and strength. And as we do, we find that life becomes richer, more meaningful, and more aligned with our true nature. We are not just human beings trying to navigate a chaotic world. We are spiritual beings, deeply connected to the infinite, and every step we take is part of a much larger, much more beautiful journey. No one can walk your path for you. The journey you are on, the lessons you are meant to learn, are yours alone. As the Lord of the Nine says, no consciousness follows the path of those before it, else all would be repetition. This means you must forge your own way forward, discovering the truths that resonate with you personally. Imitating the experiences of others will only limit your potential. Instead, the evolution of your soul requires you to embrace your individuality while aligning yourself with the universal laws. The next step involves the practice and application of what you already understand. There is wisdom in each level of knowledge you attain, but it can only be accessed by actively using it. Whether it's through meditation, spiritual practice, or simply living with greater awareness, every action you take towards higher understanding contributes to your growth. This is not a passive process. It requires effort, discipline, and a commitment to moving forward. Ancient yogis understood this principle deeply, engaging in rigorous meditation for hours, even days, to achieve higher states of consciousness. Their dedication serves as a reminder that ascension doesn't happen by chance. It happens through conscious practice. Yet this practice must be done with an openness to higher understanding. Every time we grasp a new law or principle, we expand our awareness and evolve to a higher level. The cycle of growth extends infinitely, and with each stride we are invited to build upon the laws that govern our existence. This push toward deeper understanding is not just a personal quest, it's a cosmic one. As we evolve, we contribute to the expansion of the universe itself. A key aspect of this journey is recognizing the oneness that exists between all levels of consciousness. Higher and lower, seen and unseen, all are part of the same cosmic process. The belief that some things are beneath us or less valuable is an illusion, a misunderstanding of how the universe truly works. Every level of awareness serves its purpose, and every being, regardless of where they are on their path, is part of the same grand design. This realization allows us to dissolve the separation between ourselves and others, helping us to live with greater compassion and understanding. This is how we reach the elusive third stage of spiritual evolution. As we reach the pinnacle of growth, there is an overarching goal to aim for: perfection. Many mistake this stage for perfection, yet it's important to remember that perfection, in its absolute form, may be unattainable in this lifetime. The third stage, yet that doesn't mean the pursuit is futile. The act of striving for perfection pushes us beyond our current limitations and brings us closer to our higher potential. Each step forward, each lesson learned, brings us closer to aligning with the cosmic order, even if the final destination, which is the cosmic hierarchy, remains out of reach. In this journey of cosmic evolution, we are not just passive observers, we are active participants, co-creators in the unfolding of the universe. The cycles of growth, practice, and wisdom lead us ever forward, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible. By recognizing the infinite within us and understanding the grand tapestry of consciousness that connects us all, we begin to transcend the limitations of our human experience and step into a higher state of being. The cosmic hierarchy isn't something beyond us, it's something we are part of right here, right now. And with each step we take, we are moving closer to realizing our true nature and the boundless potential that lies within. At its core, the cosmic hierarchy represents the different levels of consciousness, energy, and existence that make up reality. It is often envisioned as a ladder, with each rung representing a higher state of awareness or being. But this ladder isn't rigid, it's fluid, shifting, and accessible at any point in time. Every person, every soul, has the potential to ascend or descend based on their growth, choices, and connection to higher truths. This hierarchy includes everything from the physical to the metaphysical. At the most basic level, we experience life through our human bodies, our emotions, and our thoughts. But beyond this physical experience, there are layers of energy, spirit, and cosmic forces that shape our reality. The higher we move through this hierarchy, the more we begin to understand the interconnectedness of all things. We start to see that our actions, thoughts, and intentions ripple through the universe, influencing not only our lives, but the collective consciousness as well. However, evolution within the cosmic hierarchy is not just about gaining more knowledge or achieving higher states of meditation. It's about integration. It's about applying what we learn and allowing that wisdom to transform us from the inside out. As we integrate these lessons, we naturally ascend through the hierarchy, moving from one level of awareness to the next. Think of it this way. Every time you experience a moment of clarity, a breakthrough in your understanding, or a deep sense of connection, you are stepping up in the cosmic hierarchy. You are aligning yourself with higher laws and greater truths. These moments of expansion aren't random. They are evidence of your soul's growth and its journey toward realizing its place within the grand design. The cosmic hierarchy also teaches us that we are never alone in this journey. Just as we are growing and evolving, so too are other beings, whether they are fellow humans, animals, or even higher spiritual entities. The hierarchy includes a vast array of life forms and consciousnesses, all working together in a symphony of growth. Some beings may be further along the path, offering guidance and wisdom, while others may be just beginning their journey. But regardless of where we are all part of the same system. One of the most humbling and empowering realizations is that this hierarchy is built on unity. At the highest levels, the distinctions between beings, entities, and forms of consciousness begin to dissolve. we start to see that all life, all energy is interconnected. What affects one part of the hierarchy ripples throughout the whole. This understanding can shift how we interact with others and the world around us. When we recognize that everything we do influences the cosmic balance, we begin to live with more intention, more love, and more awareness. Moreover, the cosmic hierarchy challenges us to rise above the illusion of separation. We often feel disconnected from the greater universe, from one another, and even from ourselves. But the truth is that separation is an illusion created by the limitations of our current consciousness. As we grow and expand, we begin to see beyond these illusions. We start to experience a deeper sense of unity with all that is. This sense of oneness is not just a spiritual idea, it's a reality that we can experience when we align with higher truths. This is truly the pinnacle of spiritual evolution. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.